Bush Baby. This is the true story behind the story some of you already know.
Arise! Arise! Arise!
Can you hear it? A soft tapping on your window at night? Don't look. Don't open it. That is Bush Baby. And if you let it in, you will never come out. Bush Baby is a curse. But it was once a child. The child of a village beauty. This is the true origin of Bush Baby. Whenever traders passed through Umuofa village, they always spoke of one girl, Nkechi. Her skin shone like palm oil. Her voice was sweet like fresh honey. She was 17 years old, 6 feet 4 inches tall, slim and curvy, with long, straight, spotless legs. All the young men wanted her. But Nkechi's father was the village chief. He was a hard man. He said his daughter would marry only a rich man, not a poor farmer, not a trader, only a chief like himself. Well, Nkechi was not a bad girl. She obeyed her father. She stayed in her mother's hut, learning to cook and weave. While other village girls snuck to the river at night to meet boys,
this is too funny.
Nkechi stayed behind, grinding pepper for her father's soup. This alone made many girls jealous. They said she was too proud, like she was already a queen. But Nkechi was the pride of Umuofia. She was her father's only child after her mother suffered many losses. The chief loved her deeply, but his love was like a locked cage. Whenever neighboring villages came for festivals, Nkechi was always the one to dance at the center. She never failed her father. But Nkechi was not completely a good girl. She had a secret. Nkechi had a lover. Not a chief's son, not a rich man. His name was Chidi. Chidi was a poor palm wine tapper who walked on the edge of the village. Nkechi was 17. Chidi was 19. He first saw her at the New Yam Festival when she danced past his tree. From that day, he could not forget her. Chidi was strong and kind, but he had no money, no title, no land. So they met in secret, behind the Iroko tree, inside the abandoned shrine. While everyone praised Nkechi for being an obedient daughter, she was not entirely that good. One night, emotions were high under the moonlight, and they did what they should not have done. They swore to keep it a secret. Chidi believed he would find a way to marry her.
Until the stars fade.
1 month later, a rich suitor came from a distant village. 3 elders came with him. They brought 10 goats, 20 pots of palm wine, and 2 bags of cowries. Nkechi's father was overjoyed. He announced the marriage would happen before the next moon. That night, Nkechi ran to Chidi in tears. They met at the shrine. She told him the news. Chidi held her and said they would run away together. But Nkechi was afraid of her father's anger. She knew he had killed men for less. That night, emotions took over again, and they did the wrong thing once more. Soon after, the suitor returned home to prepare. Nkechi continued her village life.
Yes, our stores are overflowing.
2 weeks later, Nkechi began to notice strange changes. She woke up tired. She could not look at food without vomiting. At first, she thought it was a fever. But her mother noticed her swollen body and her sickness in the morning. Her mother pulled her aside and whispered, "Nkechi, when did you last see your blood?" Nkechi's face turned white. Her mother knew the truth before she spoke. Nkechi was pregnant. Her mother cried silently. Then she beat her own chest and wailed, "Who? Tell me who?" Nkechi kept quiet. Her mother shouted at her, "Do you want your father to kill you? Who is responsible?" Nkechi still refused to talk. Her mother reminded her that the chief had killed his own brother for disobedience, that Nkechi would bring shame and blood to their compound. Still, Nkechi said nothing. Left with no choice, the mother went to the chief. Immediately, the chief heard that his daughter was pregnant. He broke his drinking calabash on the floor. He shouted, "If it was the blacksmith's daughter, I would not be surprised. If it was the widow's child, I would not be surprised. But you, my own blood?" He questioned Nkechi for hours, but she refused to tell them who the father was. Finally, the chief took out his machete. He said he would cut off her nose so no man would ever look at her again. That was when Nkechi spoke. She whispered, "Chidi, the palm wine tapper." The chief was shocked. He knew Chidi, a nobody, a bush rat. He screamed, "You live with a poor man, a man with no roof." The chief's eyes became red. He told Nkechi she had ruined his name. He told her he would deal with the matter. Then he locked Nkechi in a small hut behind his compound. It was a leaking, dirty hut where he kept firewood. Nkechi was separated from the village, but her mother still bought her food in secret. Despite the chief's efforts to hide the shame, news soon began to spread. The village women whispered. One evening, the chief gathered his 3 brothers. They went to Chidi's hut.
Let go of me! Where are you taking me?
They beat him until his bones cracked. Then they dragged him to the village square and told him to leave Umuofia before sunrise. If he ever returned, they would bury him alive. Chidi ran. He ran into the forest and never looked back. Nkechi did not know this. She waited in the firewood hut, crying every night. 3 months into the pregnancy, the chief made his plan. He told his wife, "Once the child is born, we will sell it to the traders from across the river, and Nkechi will say the baby died." The mother wept, but obeyed. Nkechi overheard them through the bamboo wall. That night, she tried to escape.
Hey, stop!
She's escaping! Get her now!
But her father's men caught her at the village gate. They threw her back in the hut. As Nkechi lay there, bleeding from the ropes, an old woman appeared at the window. Everyone knew Mama Ife was a witch. She lived alone in the forest. People brought her offerings when they wanted favor. She often came to the village at night to gather herbs. When she saw Nkechi tied up, she was curious. She said nothing at first. She minded her business. But the next night, she came back with roasted yam and fish. She fed Nkechi through the window. Night after night, Mama Ife returned. She never asked questions. She just brought food and sat in silence. One night,
It's okay,
Nkechi
child.
broke down.
Let it all out.
She told Mama Ife everything. About
I'm right
Chidi,
here.
about the baby, about her father's plan to sell the child. After listening, Mama Ife shook her head. She said, "You were foolish. You opened your legs before marriage, but your father's heart is stone." Then she asked, "Do you want me to curse them for you? One small sacrifice and their yams will rot. Their goats will die. The chief will weep." Nkechi smiled sadly. "No, Mama. I still love my father. And I love Chidi. I only want my baby to live." The moon grew fat and thin again. Nkechi's belly grew large. The day finally came. Nkechi went into labor alone in the firewood hut. She screamed and screamed, but her mother had been sent to the market. Her father was drinking palm wine. Nkechi suffered alone in pain. She managed to crawl to the door. When the chief eventually arrived, both Nkechi and the baby appeared lifeless. The chief looked at them. He said coldly, "Good. This saves me the trouble. Now no one will ask questions." He called his men and told them to bury her behind the shrine. He did not check if she was truly dead. Unbeknown to the chief, Mama Ife had come that same night. She hid on top of a tree and watched everything. She heard the chief's cold words. She said to herself, "I am a witch, but even I do not bury the living." After the men left, Mama Ife rushed to the grave. She dug with her bare hands. Nkechi was not dead. He was barely breathing. But the baby was gone. The cold earth had taken it. Mama Ife carried Nkechi to her hut in the forest. For 3 days, Nkechi did not wake. On the 4th day, she opened her eyes and asked, "My baby?" Mama Ife lowered her head. Nkechi understood. She did not cry. She did not eat. She simply lay there, dying inside. In anger and grief, Mama Ife returned to the grave at midnight. She performed a ritual.
By the light of the moon and the power of the ancestors, rise now.
She called on the spirit of the unborn child. She took a calabash of river water and a feather from an owl. She buried the feather where the baby had lain. Then she called out, "Child who never saw the sun, rise, take your mother's pain, take her grief, return to the village and avenge her." A cold wind blew. The oil lamp went out. Then a baby's cry came from the grave. Not a weak cry, a deep, angry wail. That was how Bush Baby was born. The condition was clear. The child would be half spirit, half corpse. It would never grow old. Its eyes would glow red in the dark. Its fingers would be long like roots. Its cry would sound like a real baby. But anyone who followed the cry would never return. Mama Ife sent Bush Baby back to Umofia. It moved through the forest. The creature first appeared at the chief's compound. That night, chief heard a baby crying outside his hut. "Help me," it wailed. "Help me." He went out with his machete. He saw nothing. The crying moved outside his compound. He followed. The crying moved behind the shrine. He followed. The crying moved again. He followed deeper into the bush. The next morning, the chief's men found his machete stuck in a tree. The chief was never seen again. The mother was next. She heard the baby crying every night. She started waking up with scratches on her legs.
What is this? Where did these come from?
She began talking to herself.
Get away from me! What do you want? Leave this place! Leave us alone!
One evening, she ran into the forest screaming, "I am sorry! I am sorry!" The villagers found her near the river 3 days later. She was mad. She could not remember her own name.
Happened to her?
The village was terrified. People began moving away. They said the bush was haunted by a crying baby, a monster, half dead, half alive. Mama Ife watched from her hut. She had created the monster, but now she felt pity. Bush baby was still a child, still angry, still alone. Before Mama Ife died, she went into the bush to find the creature. She gave it a small wooden stool. She said, "This stool is your gift to the world. Anyone who can sit on this stool and listen to your cry for 7 nights without running will receive great wealth. But if they run, they will die." Then Mama Ife passed away, and so Bush baby remains in the forest, waiting, crying. Sometimes you hear it at night, a small voice, a baby's voice. "Help me, please help me." Do not go, do not help. That is not a baby. That is grief. That is rage. That is a child buried alive. Be careful the evil you do, because the dead do not forget, and sometimes they